From Maine, we traveled north to the Great North Woods in New Hampshire in hopes of catching a glimpse of a moose. We traveled the Moose Alley, as it's called, several nights in a row. Not one moose. I guess the consolation was the leaves were starting to change and it was a really beautiful area.
They use some pretty good sized rocks when they stack a cairn in New Hampshire. They were huge. This was a challenging trail for me. It was about a 900-foot elevation gain over the course of a mile. And even harder, it's 900 feet downhill on the way back. I did not climb the fire tower since it is no longer in use. It is no longer maintained, and it really didn't look to be in very good shape.
Stowe is just a quaint little town in Vermont that has a lot in and around it. We learned a lot about maple syrup and how you make maple syrup in Vermont. We went to the Von Trapp Family Inn, and you can see the view from here. We stopped at the cider mill and got cider donuts, and also the Cabot cheese store, and bought lots of cheese. We ended that day at Ben & Jerry's, which is actually the home place of Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
As is our custom, we visit state capitol buildings when we have the time to do so. And so we did visit the Vermont State Capitol. It is a beautiful building. Interestingly enough, the statue on top of this building is carved of wood because they didn't want to build the structure to hold up a stone statue, which was interesting.
The town of Whitehall, New York is considered the birthplace of the U.S. Navy. It is home to the Skene Manor, which is a Victorian castle which is beautiful, and the hull of the original USS Ticonderoga.
There have been 5 U.S. Navy ships named the USS Ticonderoga. This is the hull, what remains of the hull of the first USS Ticonderoga from 1812. It's here beside the lock that connects Lake Champlain to the Hudson River, north of Albany. Not much left. This is a canal that runs from here at the south end of Lake Champlain all the way to Albany, looking north now. And that red light that you see up there, if you see that red light, is lock number 12 that takes you to the lake. And as we come around this way, there's the hull of the Ticonderoga.
"43 states, 5 more to go in the continental United States." We drove to the top of Whiteface Mountain, and at the top there's what they call the castle, and it's an observatory which you can go up in. Unfortunately, it was not a very clear day, and so pictures from the top were not as good as we would have hoped.
We were able to take the elevator to the top of the 120-meter ski jump and stand on the platform immediately behind where the skiers start down the run. There's no way. That's just not something that I would ever even consider doing. They said they start kids out on smaller ski jumps, but they get to the 120-meter jump around the time they're 10 years old. No, thank you.
We are camped in an apple orchard. Letchworth State Park on the Genesee River is known as the Grand Canyon of the East. Not sure it really rivals the Grand Canyon, but the waterfalls were gorgeous. Tonight we're camped on a farm past the acres and acres of vegetables out by the pond.
We passed hundreds of acres of grapes growing in the Erie wine region. In fact, we learned that there are over 40,000 acres of grapes grown in that area.
With Lake Erie, we have now visited all 5 of the Great Lakes on this trip. The last stop, almost home, but it's time to clean out the RV so that it's ready to store for a little while.